Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my vlogging video and let's get cracking. So, in today's vlogging video, I'm going to be covering day one, like my first workout of the week, which is basically like my upper body workout. And I usually like to start off with a 45-degree incline dumbbell press as I'll really feel this in my upper chest and like the shoulder capsule area. I think I've got like a pretty good sternum angle and I can go through a full range of motion. So yeah, this feels really good in my joints. I usually do something like two sets of 6 to 10 repetitions on the dumbbell presses, with like a 1 second pause and all the way up. I do lock out my elbows as well, you know. So yeah, the tempo, the speed of the lift is like 3 seconds on the way down, 1 second pause at the bottom, and then bam, 1 second on the way up. I usually like to stay anywhere between 0 to 1 rep in reserve, like close to failure. That's true failure, by the way. The rep slows down, but the quality is not slow. Then from there, I what do I do? Yes, I do chest flies, like two sets of 10 or 15 reps basically. And yes, I do train with slipper before people lose their shit. So yeah, all the way down, all the way up with the 1 second pause at the bottom, and bam. Make sure that my chest is nice and elevated. These feel like really naughty on the chest. So yeah, not much to say, but yeah, in this case, I take all of these two sets to failure because it's a chest fly. And yeah, what gym is this? This is Dungeon Gym in where in Rashida in Dubai. It's a hardcore bodybuilding gym, and yeah, not much to say with regards to this, you know, but it feels pretty good. I usually like to go a bit explosive on the way up and a bit slower on the way down. Um, yeah, I use my feet to push myself against the bench. That basically is it. Then from there, what do I do? Then from there, I like, yeah, I begin to train my back basically. So I'll usually start off with like three sets of 6 to 10 reps on the lat puller. As you can probably see, I don't lean back excessively. I pull it towards my chin because if I pull it all the way down in a way that it touches my chest, I mechanically get weaker. And in the last few reps, I can't complete the set with the full range of motion. So technically, my full range of motion is an 80% range of motion, which is only pulling till the chin. And yeah, unfortunately, not that tall, as a result of which I could stand up on the bench to pull the barbell down. So yeah, and yeah, I mean, three sets of 6 to 10 reps. Take like a 1 second pause on top in the stretch position. This usually works your upper back, your teres minor, teres major, your rhomboids, your trapezius. It's excellent for building that V taper. The cue that I usually like to give people is think that you're swimming and pulling your arms apart while stretching your chest up to the sky, basically. And let your shoulders like elevate all the way up. As you can probably see, my shoulders do collapse upwards, thereby stretching my back to another degree. So yeah, and in this case also I take like literally all the sets, like either one rep in reserve, like one rep shy of failure, or like I don't know, um, towards failure, all out basically. Then from there I do an overhand row with the lat pull down bar. In this particular case, I think of pulling the bar towards my nipples. I think of getting my arms a bit more outwards. That's obviously me just adjusting the camera. Obviously, excuse me for the view. I realized this later, but either ways, I wanted to input this in. Three sets of 10 or 15 reps, basically. These like really work your upper back, like the thickness of the upper back. That's what I'd like to say. Like your traps, your red L's, and your rhomboids. They usually work that side, not your teres minor and your teres major as much. keep my torso nice and upright. I usually like to slouch a little bit more when I'm performing the exercise to help myself get that nice deep stretch because that works my lower lats as well. And yeah, there you go. That's me leaning forward and getting the nice stretch. I usually like to lean back a tad bit when pulling on the way up. And yep, that basically is it. Not much to say around this. And bam, that basically is it. Then from there, what do I do? Yeah, yeah. Then from there, I usually move on. I usually do something like 3 sets of 10 or 15 reps on the cuffed lateral raises, and yeah, I do use something like 10 to 15 reps in the cuffed lateral raises. Um, but I didn't really film that, so I film my superset. You know, the single arm cable curl with the what? Yeah, the single arm cable curl with the Rapunzel tricep press down. Now, the way I like to do this, I mean, my coach has prescribed it to me in the form of a straight set, but I usually like to do it in the form of supersets because um, the thing about it is sometimes I tend to run low on time. So yeah, now the way I do a single arm cable bicep curl is like I go all the way down and extend my elbows and lock up my triceps basically. And as and when the set gets harder, I do move my elbows a bit forwards, which is not really a good sign, but a little bit of it is okay. On the last 1 or 2 reps, it's not going to make that much of a big difference because your biceps are already fatigued. So 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps, superset it with 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps with the rope tricep press down. So yeah, this is just me walking around the gym because usually between sets I like to pull in some steps. And yeah, there's I usually like to pull in some steps basically because that's my only time of the day to actually do my steps. And how long do I rest? I rest for as long as possible so that I can hit the next set at as much intensity as possible. I don't really follow this smaller rest intervals rubbish basically. This is like one of the biggest workouts of the week. So yeah, bam. Now the way I like to do these tricep extensions is I like to do them seated because I don't want any body English to come inside the picture. And I usually like to lock up my triceps. No, I don't like to lock up my triceps because that really aggravates my elbow joint. I usually like to leave it, I don't know, almost up to the point where I almost lock up my triceps basically. So yeah. So the set's probably gonna start. Please bear with me while this. And yes, the sort of rope that I usually like to use is not like the traditional rope, but the it's more of like a bit of a daisy chain, which is far more useful with regards to my joints. I think so. The video got over. My bad.